Hey Angels, it's late tonight and I was literally typing up a long post and I realized, you know what, this is probably something better that I just do on a video. So let me start off with where this came from. I was thinking about the leadership reports that we have in our workstation. And some of you are newer leaders and you may not know that they're even there. And if you know that they're there, you may not even know how to utilize them. Or you may not have thought about a schedule or process or system that helps you utilize those reports in order to help you keep track of your team. So specifically the sensational start, the shooting star, so those kind of dates don't kind of slip through the cracks. So what I suggest is, one, ask yourself, do I regularly check this report? The report that I'm referring to, which I'm just gonna, because I'm a visual person, so the report that I'm referring to is that you would go to your, I'm not gonna share my screen because they don't want us showing reports as much as possible because other people's information's on it. So that's just my disclaimer. But if you go to your reporting, okay, right underneath the orders in your dashboard home on that list on the side, you'll go to reporting, and or you can just click reporting from view my performance tab or my performance from your home page, okay, from your home dashboard. Okay, once you get to there, it'll say performance overview, okay? It's gonna say quick tips on your left for how to create a will cancel report, which is important for you guys to know who's on the list to cancel. Also, there's the second tip is running a DQ report. Now that is going to be only relevant to you once you have directors on your team. Okay. But in that same column, there's the email team leadership. So the email team leadership is so you can literally email everybody that you have stewardship over. Okay, they're in your downline. Start leadership report is also a way to see all of your people in your downline, okay, which basically are anybody that is in your front line and then their team that they have built. Okay, but specifically it's actually an orange button and it says saved leadership reports. So hopefully you'll be watching this and maybe on another screen looking at your workstation. And so those saved leadership reports is sensational start, essential to certified, shooting star, and then promotions. Now promotions is not going to be, you're not going to see it until you'll see it, but it'll be the prior month's promotions until it is official. So I'm actually doing this recording on the 5th of May. So things aren't actually posted and confirmed until the 10th. So if I clicked promotions right now, or you did, you'll see whoever promoted the previous month before the month that you're actually going to be paid in. So for instance, example, May 5th is right now. When I click on that, it's actually going to say March, any promotions in March, because April is still not official. So it's not going to show me those. So that's just a little side note. So therefore, that's why I don't do any recognition, or I don't talk about it on the page, on the Facebook page. I don't send recognition off, because until things are official, we don't know if somebody actually promoted. An example is sometimes commissions can change until it's final. Somebody may pull an order. Somebody may have, there's a lot of different scenarios that can happen. But anyways, PRV can change, which can change a promotion, basically. All right, so sensational start and essential to certified, to really see who's close. As leaders, we should be pulling these reports regularly. Essential to certified, every month you should be pulling that at least. so you can see who's close. So if somebody's a party away from hitting certified, you can let them know, hey, you're only $200 away from hitting 1,000 and promoting to certified, which is going to give you that 5% bonus. So the majority of consultants don't keep track of where they're at themselves. Now, our new dashboard does have the little tracker, the performance for this month, and those that haven't been certified yet, they see how far they are to 1,000. But here's the kicker: most consultants don't go in their workstation as much as a leader would. And there's even consultants out there which, wait for it, never place orders on their workstation. They place orders only on their website. So they literally never take a look at their workstation. I know it sounds crazy. You may have been that person at one point. You never know. People don't know what they don't know. So sometimes I've found out people have been placing their orders on their website for as long as they've been consultant because they didn't know any better. Their sponsor never said anything. There was really no reason for me to ask them. They never showed up to training calls. They never showed up, answered my text messages or my phone calls. So there's no reason for me or way to find out what they're doing in their business. So it's very interesting how there's so many different scenarios. Okay, now it's very important as a leader, if your intentions are to be a good leader and to support your team. Now, there's a quote from Zig Ziglar that I actually just posted on our group page recently, but I'm going to read it because who knows when you're going to be watching this video. You might be watching it years from the day that I actually posted it. So let me go ahead and read it for you. And the quote is, you'd think I'd know it by heart right now. I actually just shared it with somebody else today. But where is it? Here it is. Okay. And it's probably something you've already heard before. You can get everything in life you want if you will just help enough other people get what they want, by Zig Ziglar. Okay. So you might want to Google that and print it out and just kind of remind yourself. But basically why I brought that up is because in order for us to really get what we want in this business, and it's different with everybody. If you're a leader, there's a portion of you that wants to maximize and utilize the compensation plan. You realize that by sponsoring, you will make a better compensation. You'll get more money, right? So in order for us to do that and to even have the potential to continue to grow our financial situation, there's a level of responsibility that we have to do. Now, when you think about it, sponsoring bonuses are because we put time into people, and that's the way we get compensated for our time, right? So it's the sponsoring bonus. So therefore, we have to have some type of a system of what we're doing monthly to legitly, and honestly earn that sponsoring bonus. What am I doing every month in order to help my team? One of them is to make sure you are paying attention to these reports. You don't want somebody to miss a goal by a small amount, especially. And believe me, it's happened before. I'm guilty of it. And I unfortunately learned the hard way with a lot of stuff in this business, is when I didn't have a consistency of looking, I would, by one day, I had my own frontline miss her goal by a day, by a very small amount. And it's because I wasn't watching. I wasn't paying attention. And so that was a hard lesson to learn. And so I realized, wow, I need to be more consistent with checking these numbers, because unfortunately, when somebody's new, they really don't, unless they're on fire and hardcore, this is what I want to do. And they really know what their goal is and why they want to earn it. And so those type of people are going to they're going to know when their date is, how much they have to do it in, and they're going to hit it whether you're around or not. But the majority of people aren't that kind of person. Okay. The majority of people have to be given a heads up. They have to be checked in on. They have to be hey, you're only X amount of dollars away and you have a couple more days, and a lot of people will go, oh my gosh, thank you. I had no idea. And so with that being said, I want you to also realize that as leaders, we are not their mamas and we're not their bosses and we're not their supervisors. We're literally here to support and direct. So with that being said, if you have a consistent system that you are putting your absolute effort to try to support your team monthly, and they still aren't doing something, don't beat yourself up. If you have a system that is fairly good and you have a rough month and life got difficult and you missed a date, don't beat yourself up. The only thing you can control in here is your efforts and learn from your mistakes. That's what I had to do when that front line of mine missed her, and when I really thought about it, she wasn't paying attention very closely herself. And so we're all independent consultants. We're all our own business owners. We're all the CEOs of our businesses. So the only person that's really in charge of us is ourselves. So that's where that two side comes from, which I always tell you guys about. There's two sides to every circumstance. And so there's a level of responsibility that we do have to own, but then there's also that side is that we all join so we can have, we can work our business around our other priorities. So, but we have to, in order to be able to do both, is you really need to sit down and say, when do I work my business? What is my schedule? And when am I willing to work my business? And so that's how you can very clearly lay it on the line with your new front line, saying, look, these are my hours. If you want support and you want to chat and train or whatever, this is when I do it. I don't do business outside of these hours. And that's your right to be able to say that. Now, there's also consultant support that's open a lot longer of hours than probably most of us work our business. And so they have the choice to also utilize support for any questions they have. Sometimes it's questions that we can't even do anything for them. They do have to call support. So I want you to consider that. And then let's see, what else did I write? I wrote a pretty long one thing. I want to make sure that I'm catching all of it because I should have just posted it, but let's see. Okay, so one thing about new consultants is generally they don't know what they want out of the business and what they're capable of. So when they're brand new, they probably don't think they care if they're going to hit a goal of shooting star or sensational start. But the only way they're going to know is if they're aware of it. Now, most consultants don't read their startup guide. So their consultant guide, that's what it's called now. It's important for us to encourage them to. But it comes in their kit. It's there. Again, they're all grown adults as well, over 18 years old. So they're all capable of realizing if this is in my starter kit, this is probably something I need to read. But most people don't. Okay. So if you want to encourage good behavior, make that part of your talk with them is that, hey, you're going to get a startup guide. This is something that I encourage you to read because there's going to be a lot of questions that you have that come up that are probably going to be in that guide. And then also, again, like I said, lay down when you'd work your business. And on your end, you have to say, when am I going to check those reports? When am I going to do that? How often am I going to do that? And so you can basically commit on your end how much you're going to be paying attention. And so don't connect with those people outside of your hours because then it confuses them. I'm guilty of that because my hours do fluctuate, but I tell them that. But if you tell them if you lay down the law that you only work your business on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, but then you're calling them on a Tuesday, that's what's going to confuse them. And it's going to, you give them an inch, they take a mile. But I lay everything out in the, on my end, I say that my hours is this, but I do fluctuate depending on my husband's schedule. And because my husband's schedule changes all the time. So when my husband's home, I'm generally not working as much. But when he he isn't, then some, like right now he's at work, so I am willing to work later. So, and my kids are asleep. But that's just an example. Okay. Let's see. Oh, another thing is important is, you want to set the expectation of this kind of business is so you joined it so you can work your business around your family, around all the other priorities you have in your life. And if you set that expectation for them, then they're going to be able to do the same thing. And then they'll see how this business can work for them. A lot of people think that they have to work it all day long in order to be successful. So if you lay that on the line, and then you can sit there and say, let's figure out when you can work your business. Where can we plug in work hours for you? And that's where you come in as a sponsor and a leader, is to help them figure out how Scentsy can work in their lifestyle. And that maybe even have a conversation you have with them before they even join, so they already kind of know a plan of what they're going to do. Okay. Okay, talked about that. Okay, so basically I just really wanted to emphasize on how the people that struggle in this business, especially leaders, are the ones that continue to strive to make this business black and white, meaning this is what I do, when I do it, how I do it, and that's law. Unfortunately, because we're working our business around our lives, we do have to understand that there has to be some type of flexibility. As well as we're not working with the same type of people every day. We're dealing with different personalities, different lifestyles, different ages, different cultures, different everything. And so we have to be flexible to understand that we may not be able to be the best leader for someone, because they may not let us give us the opportunity to be a leader. So we can only do what we can on our end. So it is important to kind of know what you do when somebody joins, like what is your goal? That's the idea. What is your goal? But it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to happen. Okay. And be okay with that. You have to have a neutral feeling about when somebody joins and what they do with their business. Just like when we're offering the opportunity before they join, hosting opportunity and buying, we have to be very neutral with whether they say yes or no, because that's when the roller coaster of the business starts to really take over your life. It's very emotional and we start to take things personal. But if they say yes, great, because here's the thing, they may not do anything, but we don't want to get upset. We also don't want to not be excited for them, because they may, but we don't want to be so excited so when they do nothing, we get depressed and feel like we're losers. But we also don't want to get, and the same thing, if they do nothing, we don't want to be so upset that they did nothing that we lose our joy in the business. So staying at a neutral level emotionally keeps that roller coaster from really, really messing with us. Okay. And what I talk to all my leaders about on one-on-ones, you may have had one-on-ones with me before, is you're the only one that knows your effort. You're the only one that knows your heart and what your intentions are of being a leader and supporting your team. So in the end, you're the one that has to say, you know what, I'm not stepping up to the game. I'm not doing my part. And then you get to make a choice, whether you're going to do better, or at least attempt to do better, or you're going to beat yourself up. It's really that simple. Because here's the thing, another director and I were just talking today, actually, about, in the end, people are going to put expectations on you. They're going to judge you. They're going to assume a lot of stuff. But in the end, you're the one that knows who you are, what your efforts are. And so if you aren't taking the time to plan what your efforts are and how you're going to go about them, you will have people not do so well in the business because they have no direction. There's going to be random people that join that are just go-getters, and you can honestly say there's no reason that it wasn't a part of what you did. They were just go-getters and they just ran with it. But the people that aren't go-getters from the get-go do need support and direction. And so you have to decide, are you going to be that person for them? And how does that look? How are you going to fit that into your life? And you just, if you're listening to me and you're like, wow, I've never thought about any of this, I don't normally do any of this, that means that you need more coaching and support as a leader. And so one thing I suggest, and remember, it goes both sides, just like you can't read your team's minds that they need more support, you're like myself as your upline or your director, whoever I am or whoever your director is, can't read your mind either. So there's a point that you have to step up and say, hey, I need help. I need to schedule time with you. There's a point also that you have to make sure that your team knows when you're willing to help. And so maybe making them aware that, hey, these are my hours. This is how you can connect with me and schedule time with me. And if you send emails off, if you make posts, just periodically remind them, because then you have record that you are constantly trying to open your schedule and your time and trying to give support. If they don't reciprocate and they don't respond to it, then that's not in anybody's control. Just like if I'm offering my time to help coach you as a leader and you're not making the time to schedule the time, there's nothing I can do for you. And, it's just the way it is. So that's why I said there's just literally two sides to everything. There's two sides to being a leader, and there's the two sides to, and trying to lead your team, but also the same thing of, even as a consultant. I think that's pretty much everything that I covered in this post. And I hope that it gets you thinking about, do I have work hours? Do I have a system of what I do when somebody joins, or if somebody's thinking of joining, or, everything in your business? And if you want to grow, and this is maybe making you think like, man, I want to do these things, or I want to do better at these things. Maybe you do have some systems in place, but this is making you kind of think about, hey, I want to polish this up a little bit. Then reach out to me or your director or whoever you feel comfortable with, to do some coaching and to do some masterminding and kind of really break down, what your goals are and what kind of a leader you want to be, and what is available, because that's another thing. You can want to be a certain type of leader, but if you're not capable or willing to put in that time, those are two different things. So remember that there's a lot of people out there doing a ton of stuff, but it's because they're willing to put that time in and sacrifice other areas. You may not be willing to sacrifice certain areas in your life. I know now, 9 years into the business, I'm not willing to sacrifice areas that I was willing to sacrifice in the beginning. So, and it might be vice versa. You may have not been willing earlier on in your business, and now you are. So that's why this business is constantly fluctuating, and there's always a new phase in this business in everybody's lives and journeys. And so the moment we accept that, and that it's just not going to be cookie cutter or cut and dry, there's always going to be change. And that's a good thing, because we all should be evolving, and our lives should be constantly changing in some way, or else it would be very, very boring, right? And it's the same thing for our businesses. So I hope this, again, like I said, I hope it helped in some way, and I hope it makes you start kind of thinking about what direction you want to go. Or maybe you're in the right direction and you have all this worked out and you're fine. So I hope that's for many of you. And but I'll tell you, 9 years in, there's still a lot of things that I'm still trying to figure out. I reinvent myself all the time, and I'm in a phase of reinventing right now that I'm willing to do some things that I wasn't willing to do before, financially or just whatever. So yeah, I don't have it all planned out perfect, because it's never going to be that way. You know, it's working for what's working for me now. And then 6 months from now, you may ask me what I do, and it may be something completely different, because what I'm doing now doesn't work for me anymore in the lifestyle that I have 6 months from now. So anyways, I hope that I hear from many of you, and you set up some time with me, because I'd really love to get to know you even more, and I'd love to support you achieve your goals. Okay, have a great day, and or night here. I don't know what time you're watching this, but it's night here. And if nobody's told you they loved you, I love you, and I always will. I'm so grateful to have you in our organization, in our Scentsy family. Bye.